There's a reason you can't stop checking your phone, a reason your attention fractures so easily, a reason the silence feels uncomfortable and stillness feels like withdrawal. It's not by accident, it's by design. You live inside a system that doesn't just tolerate addiction. It depends on it. Not the addiction to substances, but to simulation, to noise, to stimulation, to endless input that feels like life, but keeps you far from actually living. The modern world is engineered to hook you, not to inform you, not to free you, but to keep you inside a loop, a feedback system built on craving, chasing, scrolling, comparing. They want you addicted to the simulation, because an addicted mind is a distracted mind, and a distracted mind is easy to lead. You wake up and check a screen. You fill the gaps between thoughts with music, messages, media. You chase entertainment, convenience, validation. All the while, something inside you drifts further away. Not your body, your presence, your connection to now. Because the more you live in simulation, the less you live in sensation. The less you feel the wind, the breath, the silence that once fed the soul. You begin to mistake busyness for purpose, followers for friendship, speed for progress. You start living outside yourself, and eventually you don't remember what peace feels like unless it's pre-packaged in an app. But addiction isn't about pleasure, it's about escape. What you're escaping is the unbearable weight of your own disconnection, the ache of not being home, in your body, in your truth, in this moment. And the simulation is happy to offer you 1,000 ways to avoid that ache. Infinite distractions, infinite escapes, but never the cure. Because the moment you heal, you no longer need them. And they lose you. They lose your clicks, your views, your compliance. And that can't happen, so the hooks get sharper. The algorithms get smarter. The content gets faster. The dopamine hits get more frequent. Not to empower you, to numb you. The simulation isn't just the internet, it's a way of being. It's the pressure to perform, the illusion of perfection, the polished identity you show the world. It's the need to look like you're winning, even when you're lost. It's the masking of pain beneath filters and emojis. It's the fear of missing out pulling you away from the joy of being in. And the more you buy in, the more the real you fades. You become a character in a story you didn't write, a puppet for a system you didn't choose, and your soul begins to whisper, "This isn't it." That whisper is your chance. It's the thread you must follow back to reality, not the reality you were sold, the deeper one, the one that can't be captured in pixels, the one that waits in silence, in breath, in nature, in the space between notifications, in the presence that doesn't need to be shared, just felt. You are not here to be endlessly stimulated. You are here to wake up, to remember what it feels like to be alive, unfiltered. And for that to happen, you must break the loop. To break free from the simulation, you first have to see it, not as a screen, but as a strategy. Every beep, every buzz, every red notification badge is a tether, a carefully designed psychological hook meant to bypass your awareness and reach your primitive brain. You are not being shown reality. You are being shown a version of it that keeps you looping. Endless recommendations, endless swipes, endless content that mimics connection but feeds separation. And the irony is this: the more stimulated you are, the more numb you become, to beauty, to truth, to your own soul. And that numbness is the true cost of addiction, not the time lost, but the self forgotten. It goes deeper than you think. Because addiction to simulation isn't just about consumption, it becomes identity. You begin to craft yourself around what will be liked, shared, approved. You perform instead of express. You edit your thoughts before they're spoken. You live not from the core, but from the mask. And that mask grows heavier each time you betray what you know is real, just to stay relevant in a world that rewards illusion. That's the tragedy of the simulation. It teaches you to abandon your inner world for the sake of appearances, and the moment you do, you become programmable. A programmable mind doesn't ask why. It asks what's next. It doesn't feel. It reacts. It doesn't go inward. It reaches for the next distraction. And that's exactly the point, because a soul that never stops to reflect can never remember. Never remember its power, its origin, its design. The simulation steals your sacred time, the still moments where soul whispers can be heard. It replaces them with noise. Fast food for the mind, instant meaning, instant outrage, instant relief, but never stillness, never depth, never presence. And that's where the return begins. Not in deleting all your apps, not in moving to the woods, but in reclaiming your attention, in choosing, moment by moment, where your consciousness goes, in asking, is this feeding my truth or feeding my addiction? It's not about purging the world. It's about realigning with what's real within the world. Because simulation doesn't end when the screen goes dark. It ends when your awareness turns on, when your choices become intentional, when your breath becomes deeper than your scrolling, when you learn to sit in silence, in discomfort, in truth, without running. Because truth doesn't chase you. It waits, quiet, constant, beneath the noise. And it returns when you do, when you stop performing and start listening, when you stop reacting and start remembering. You remember the sky without a filter, the joy of presence, the sacredness of solitude. You remember how it feels to laugh without recording it, to cry without posting it, to exist without needing to explain it. That's not boring, that's freedom, and the addicted mind will fear it until it tastes it again. The system will tell you you're falling behind, that you need to keep up. That presence is a luxury, but presence is your anchor. It is the place no algorithm can follow, the space no program can predict, the one thing they can't monetize, because it's yours, untouched, eternal, sacred. The more time you spend there, the harder it becomes to be manipulated. Your nervous system recalibrates, your intuition sharpens, your discernment returns. You become harder to program and impossible to addict. This is the spiritual war of our time, not of swords and shields, but of attention. Where you place it determines what grows. Where you withdraw it determines what dies. The system feeds on your gaze, and the moment you reclaim it, the simulation weakens. It cannot sustain itself without your consent. So take back your gaze, take back your pace, take back your inner life. Because you were not born to be content. You were born to be conscious. And consciousness cannot be captured in pixels. It lives where the simulation cannot reach, in the now. They want you addicted, but you are not a product. You are presence, disguised as a person. You are awareness, disguised as a user. And the moment you remember that, you unplug.